Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's Free Friday coaching call. For those of you that may be joining us for the first time or on the recording, this call happens the first and third Fridays of every month, 9 a.m. Pacific. And the context for these calls is skill set and mindset in real estate. And like anything in life, skill sets and mindsets are transferable into other areas. And so the purpose of these calls is continue to learn, to grow, to have people come together, collaborate, share, and keep moving forward. So for those of you that I might be meeting for the first time, my name is Casey Council Jiha, and these calls were started by my late husband, Rick Jiha, who spent 43 years, devoted 43 years actually of his life into the industry of real estate and helping people succeed in real estate. He loved coaching, training, speaking, and for 43 years ran the Rick Jiha real estate sales team out of Fremont, California, where it still exists today. And so he would give his phone number out everywhere he went and say, if you need any help with anything, call me. And people did. And so that became a capacity issue. And he started this call as a way to have a conversation with all of his friends in the industry around the world, to have one place to come together to continue to learn and grow. And so super excited to be continuing that legacy and the commitment to progress and to growth and to leaning in and learning and moving forward. For those of you that are just jumping on, good morning, Lindsay. I always joke and say the best thing out of the real estate industry that I got was my husband, because he and I met in the real estate industry. And so there's no accidents of whatever brought you to your career here today and to this call today. And so I'm super excited for the guests that we're going to have on. We're going to have a fun conversation, dialogue back and forth. I purposely do not send or forward questions in advance because I find that organic conversations and what come out of organic conversations are way more interesting than anything that's over prepared. So I know Wendy has some
Super
incredible.
nervous. Super nervous.
You're super nervous. Oh,
I'm
well,
like, what is she gonna say?
is she gonna say? I know. Well, I mean, the cool thing is that you're an expert in your field. You've got the industry experience and you preach that only which you practice. And so we're going to have a conversation about those things today. And I think the interesting thing, kind of as we start off and kick off today's call, is what is your background prior to real estate? Would love to jump into that and why you got into it. But before that happens, what I want to say for those of you that may be just meeting Wendy for the first time is that one of the things that I love about her is she is a woman on a mission. And my experience of Wendy is she's a heat-seeking missile. So whatever she decides is going to happen, happens. And it happens with joy and it happens with fun, and people cannot help but be swept along in the wake of wherever it is that Wendy's going because they don't want to be left behind. So I don't know anyone that can create FOMO like Wendy creates FOMO. And it's because she's always up to amazing things and creating incredible things. And she's got a zest for life. She loves helping and serving people. She's very committed to growing, personally and professionally, in my experience. And more than anything, she's a servant leader who's here today, willing to share, serve, and pay it forward for the benefit of not just those of you that have shown up live. However, the 900 people that are signed up on the email list, they get this recording after the call happens today. So Wendy, I want to welcome you to the call. Thank you so much for being here. And let's start off with the Wendy before real estate and why you chose this career path, because we'll have new agents to seasoned agents and everyone in between that jumps on here.
That's funny. I don't talk about that much because that was 20 years ago. Yeah, been in the business 20 years. Before that, I worked for State Farm as insurance agent for 4 years. And then I decided to have my second child. And I decided to open up a daycare. And I had about 12 to 15 kids in my daycare. They all ate at the same time. They all slept at the same time. Everybody had a schedule and it was super fun. I don't even know how I did it. Like I must have been medicated because I can't even deal with my two that I have. But anyway, so that's kind of where that went. And while I was running a daycare, I decided I'm going to help chiropractors and do medical billing. So I went to medical billing school. So then I started, doing their billing. And then we decided to move to Vegas because Joanna's here. my sister slash assistant slash business partner. And anyway, and so I was like, okay, I'm done being at home with these kids. So I put them in daycare, put them in school, and then I worked for a chiropractor, 60 hours a week, ran that whole, back office, front office, pretty much everything. And after I did that, I moved to Henderson and bought my house there and saw how much money that guy made. And I was like, what? I found my house on Zillow and he only showed me two houses and made $8,000. Like, I'm doing that. so so that's kind of how that started. So as I was working 60 hours a week at the chiropractor's office, I also went to real estate school. I started selling or showing houses on my lunch hour, after work, on the weekends, even with kids in sports. Like, I've always just piled one thing on top of another, and wanted to, 10x everything I touch. So anyway, and 2 years later, I picked up some REO accounts for Wells Fargo, Fannie Mae, and Bank of America, and decided to go full time into real estate. So that's where that happened. But
Oh,
pretty cool journey, huh?
it is a cool journey, really cool journey. I was just saying to somebody yesterday, sometimes the days can drag on and the years fly by. And, 20 years later, here we are in this conversation. Yes. So, I know. So, I have an interesting question for you, kind of before we jump into the topic for today. And that is that 95% of the people that get licensed in real estate don't actually make it or stay in real estate. And so, of the 5% of people that actually do and go and build careers in this industry, there are different things for different people that do that. What's had you stay in the industry for 20 years and be committed to continuing to grow over that time?
Um, well, when I first got started, it's funny that I think about that. And it's like we didn't have anything back then as what we have now. Like, if we had what we had now way back then, I would have made so much money. But I mean, I did pretty good. I think I did 12 deals my first year and then 24 my second. Like, I constantly was like doubling my production every year. And I feel like helping people buy and sell has been just a huge passion, when people are hugging me when they get the keys to their house, like, that's just huge to me. And all those little things that, led up to that are like no big deal. Those are called, opportunities, not obstacles, right? So anyway, and I just kind of fell in love with that part. I love marketing and I love getting people top dollar for their properties. So that's always been one of my passions. Even if they come to me with an ugly house, like, I'll pay to make it pretty. I don't want to list ugly houses. I am not that agent. Hey, let's just paint the walls. Anyway, so I've been huge into that, and then after a while, I wanted to be full circle for my clients, and that's when I decided to open my brokerage.
I
So
love that. So, how many years into your journey in real estate did you open your own brokerage?
I was a solo agent for about 9 years, and then I opened my own brokerage.
Okay, it's about halfway through your career.
Yeah, maybe
Then, yeah. So, well, clearly, you said something that I think is really important, and that is you have a passion for helping people and you making it about them. You have pride in what you do. And it's not just about getting the job done, it's getting it done in a way that meets a standard that you've set for yourself. Right. And it sounds like in any evolution in someone's journey or career path, so at the 10-year mark, you decided to become your own independent broker. Then at some point, you decided not to be an independent broker anymore and move your business to within the platform of EXP. And then you made another decision within your business after that. So let's just kind of chronologically work through those. Why did you pivot from going an independent broker to bringing your business to the platform of EXP?
Okay, yeah. So that was because I finally felt pain as a broker, right? I didn't really feel pain my first 5 years. It was all still warm and fuzzy, and I built this and it's mine and all that. But once your agents do stupid shit and your license is on the line for everything that they do, it gets a little scary. And, I've worked so hard and I've been in the business a long time and I've never had complaints filed against me. I've never been in trouble. Like, it's not hard to be a good agent. So, anyway, but some agents just aren't. And so that's kind of what I experienced right before I came here, paying a lot of money to keep people out of trouble, and it just wasn't worth it anymore. So I met Jesse at a conference and he's amazing. And he started talking about the stock and the no liability. And both of those hit home to me because I am an amazing spender. I'm a terrible saver. Like I have Jeeps, I have Harleys, like that's my retirement. It's all in the garage. I have nothing. I'm just gonna ride around when I retire, and that's gonna be my life. So anyway, so I listened about that and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then the fact that you can still have a team and not be liable for everything is just a game changer. So after that meeting, after that free breakfast, I decided to come back here and we moved my whole brokerage over in 30 days.
That's amazing. And so at that point in time, what it was you and how many that did
Nine.
that?
I had 9 agents.
9 agents. Okay. So
Well,
you
we had
get
10, but one didn't come.
okay. So so you get here, you're doing business, you're doing life, and then you have like obviously some kind of defining moment that says, I'm going to become a luxury agent, break into the luxury market and dominate. What was that? Tell us how that happened.
Well, so basically I've been in the three to $500,000 range for almost 20 years, right? Those are my people. That's my comfort zone, right? And when I started thinking about building my organization, it's really hard to do when you're busy selling 50 plus homes a year. So Haley Jones is the one that said, we need to be luxury. And I was like, no, we don't. I'm fine with where I'm at. Thank you. Anyway, and she goes, no, all you have to do is send this amazing presentation to people that expired. So pull it up on your MLS. How many expired over $1 million? And so I pulled it up and 350. And I was like, oh, all right then, I'm in. So and when I talked to Joanna, I was like, this kind of makes sense. Like we need to sell less, right? Sell less and make more so that we have more time to Asian attract. So that's kind of what pulled the trigger on that. Scary as shit it was, but I am not a luxury agent. I can't even walk in high heels. Like I am the opposite of luxury. And but with the materials that EXP Luxury has, it's a game changer. So
I love that. So you catch the vision, right? This is the beginning of anything for someone. And I think this is a really important piece is that we will always only create to what we can see as possible. Right? So you spent 20 years seeing 3 to 500. These are your people, right? And then you have the experience where you jump on the MLS and you see over 300 expired listings at a million or more in price point, and all of a sudden your vision expands. Right. And so there's a saying that a mind once expanded never returns to its original state. It's like you're not able to unsee something that you've seen. And for people that are entrepreneurial, internally motivated, once that happens, it's like, oh, shoot, now, well, this is obviously going to happen. And it's not a matter of there's a million different hows of how you can do it. The inevitability becomes like, oh, this is what we're doing now. So, talk us through from the moment that you caught the vision to the execution, what that experience has been like, and the things that you've learned. And I may interject with questions along the way.
okay. Yeah, so when I first got started, I was super excited. And I started ordering the books, the magical black books, right? This is where I'm going to put the presentation in and I'm going to send it to their door. I'm going to get all the listings. But I also started going to masterminds because our EXP Luxury has masterminds. Yes.
Yeah, so for people that don't know what the magical black books are, will you tell us what
Right.
those are?
Yeah, I will get to that,
Okay,
but
perfect.
that was my first thing because I knew that's what Haley told me. All we have to do is this, right? So that's all I did, and then I started going to the masterminds, and I was like, okay, these luxury people are going to tell me how to be luxury, and they're going to tell me how to break into these markets. And what I learned was that I needed to go play golf and pickleball and tennis and join the country clubs and take attorneys out to lunch to schmooze them so that they'll refer me to their clientele. Does that sound like something I would like to do? Absolutely not.
I'm like, it didn't involve a Jeep or a Harley, so
100% I'm out. So I just went all in. I said, I already know, I already taught, I already treated all my clients like luxury. So this wasn't like a brand new thing. I already did amazing pictures, videos. I know how to run ads. I'm really good at marketing, right? So I'm just doing it for a higher priced home. So I knew if I could just get in the door, I could get the listing. So anyway, so I just started focusing on there are these books. I can share the presentation that goes in it if you want me to share screen. It's
yes,
really it's really good. So basically, this is what goes in the magical black books. And I say magical because it was just magical. So basically, this is the expired home that didn't sell and the address, right? This takes 30 seconds to populate, and this is what you get with eXp Luxury. So you just pop this in, and this comes right to a PDF file that goes inside the book. And I feel like this really resonates with sellers because it's literally a picture of their home and you're showing them what their home's going to look like on the Wall Street Journal and Rob Report, Unique Homes, Mansion Global, Upmarket, Market Watch, Barron's, James Edition, Luxury Estate, Haven. And my favorite thing is being able to tell the seller that you're going to run 80 plus ads to over 100 countries. And so they see all of this even before you meet them. So that's what we put in the book, and we FedEx it to their front door because that works so good. Don't mail it. Don't try to drop it off. Like FedEx creates urgency. Like they even get a text saying, you're getting a FedEx delivery, right? So anyway, it works really good. And that's what we just started doing. We started sending out 13 a week. Not because it's a lucky number, just because our local printer that prints the presentation that goes inside requires a $50 minimum. And so it took 13 presentations to make that minimum. And I wanted to make it to where it's something we could do, right? You don't want to say, I'm going to send 100 a week out because then this is not something you're going to do. So we do 13 a week, and we just started sending them out, and I did bomb my first 5 appointments. So luxury is a lot different than regular home sellers, right? They have different pain points. They care about different things, so it was a little learning curve for me. A couple things were I didn't have good marketing materials to take with me. So what did I do? I immediately went and ordered soft touch 4-page brochures. They look like this. See, they're beautiful. Did I have a luxury listing? No, I didn't. So I bought 10 photos from my photographer and I put them on here. And these are so luxury. Like if you felt them, you would fall in love with my marketing. So anyway, and then I put 1, 2, 3, your luxury home, Las Vegas, Nevada. There's the sample. That's what I took with me. So I made sure that I got one of those. And then eXp Luxury also has soft touch marketing plan. So I popped my picture in there and a bio, and the rest was already made for me. So anyway, so now I have marketing materials. I also bombed another $10 million listing because I had no idea about staging. I have a mobile she shed that I haul around with my Jeep. Do you think $10 million home sellers care about that? They don't like that. Anyway, so what did I do? I went and made friends with the stager, took her out to coffee, and asked her everything about staging and added her to my pre-listing guide. Like, you are on my team now. And now you're going to be able to help me answer these questions because I don't know what, a 10,000 square foot home. He asked me how much I thought it would be to stage it. So I told them, I don't know, about 5,000. He said, try 25,000. So yeah. Anyway, things you need to know. So, and then apparently you shouldn't have a fully branded automobile like wrapped like a billboard, like my Jeep was when you roll up to one of these houses, because apparently they like discretion. So, I mean, these are just things like, what is discretion? That's not even in my vocabulary. But anyway, so these are the reasons like I didn't get listings at first, but then once I figured out what they were looking for and figured out what I was trying to be also. So when I would go into these houses, I'm in my high heels, I'm praying they make me take my shoes off because my feet hurt so bad. I want to cry. Like, I hate high heels. Anyway, but I'm trying to be this luxury realtor, right? I'm trying to be what I feel like everybody wants, right? And I think they felt that. And I honestly feel like they saw me faking it and trying to be someone I wasn't, because it just didn't feel good, right? And then I was in Cabo, and I got a text message from this guy, and he's sending me all these pictures of his house, and I knew exactly what house it was because we already sent him a book. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? And he goes, I got your package. I want you to come over and talk to me about selling my house. And I said, okay, well, I'm in Cabo. So how about next Wednesday? So I set the time, and then I get home, and that morning I'm having those same things like, what do I wear? What do I drive? What do I say? How do I get here? And trust me, I wanted to give up. Like, I was like, maybe this isn't me. Maybe this is why I'm not luxury, right? So me and Joanne had a lot of meetings with my brain and my mindset. So anyway, and he texted me and he said, it just snowed. Don't bother wearing high heels. I was like, I'm going to love this guy. So I put my sparkly wedding boots on that are good luck with some nice jeans and a nice top. And I drove my Jeep up to Mount Charleston in the snow, which I'm glad I had a Jeep because it was snowing and a car wouldn't have made it. Anyway, and I pulled up, and he didn't even like, shake his head or look at me like some of the other people did. And he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I just kind of told him, I said, I love log cabins because it was a log cabin. And I said, I grew up in wood. I said, and me and my sister, we had to peel all the bark off the logs. And we had slivers up and down our sides. And I think my dad paid us like 5 cents a log. I said, and all I can say is I'm so glad it wasn't this big. And so he laughed, we built rapport, and it was just like I was finally myself. So I went in, he gave me a tour. It was amazing. I got the listing. It was 12 million. Did it sell? No, it didn't. Did it get me 13 more? Yes, it did. So that's where it started. Questions, Casey?
Yeah. So, well, there's a couple of things about what you shared that I think are really cool. Is that I just said this to someone the other day. People are people are people are people. And sometimes we think, people that we make judgments about people based on our perspective of how similar they are to how we feel they might be to us, or how different they are to how we might feel they might be to us. Right. And so, one of the things that I love about what you've shared so far is you're not going to be on the pickleball court. You're not going to be on the golf court because that's not who you are. And then now does it become impossible for me to break into the luxury market because I don't fit that look or that feel, right? And the truth is people are people are people are people. And so you being who you are, Harleys and Jeeps, and thank God, no, do I get the day off from high heels? Please, thank you, because there's snow. Is that when you can connect with people, like people that are, in a $500,000 price point or a $12 million price point are still people. At the end of the day, you have a service to deliver to be able to help that person, for what's going to be important to them. And one of the other things that I love about what you shared is the intentionality behind that. It wasn't a matter of if you were going to do it and create success, you were going to figure it out and do it and create success. And then there's this organic discovery that happens along the way of, I have no idea how it's actually going to work out. I just know that it is going to work out, and then things unfold in the way that they unfold, right? And I think there's another great lesson that the thing that we think is going to be the thing sometimes is just the door opener to the next thing, right? So the $12 million listing doesn't sell. However, it opens the door for how many more?
13.
13. So what, what? Tell us about that.
So basically, this guy gave me a chance and gave me a raise too, by the way, just in case you guys are wondering if you do 1% for 12 million. No, you don't. I had a 2.5 on there because that's where we've been in Las Vegas for 7 years. And he goes, "What is that?" He goes, "Put a 3 there. You're going to work your ass off for this." And then I had a 6 month contract, and he goes, "And that needs to be a 12. These things take time." So I got a raise, got a $12 million listing, and I got locked in for a year. But the thing is I did exactly what I told him I was going to do. I did an amazing video. I told the story of his home through video, which is super important, especially for, a home like that. Everybody should know, where it's tucked away and how close it is to Las Vegas. And these are going to be your views and, all that good stuff. So the video was amazing. We have 840,000 views on YouTube. So, and that's on purpose, right? I know how to run ads on my properties, and we don't just run them in the US. We also run them to other countries because a $12 million home buyer may not be in the US, right? And so I promised him that, and I delivered. The the video was so good that the county came back and retracted his certificate of occupancy because the expansion decks were not complete. Like, you could open the kitchen door and like plummet to your death. So it wasn't my fault that it didn't sell, but that's how many people saw my video. Anyway, but it was amazing. I did everything I said, and I marketed it to everybody. And then the cool thing is then when you go to your next listing appointment, you're going to be like, "This is what I do for my sellers. These are what my videos look like. These are my stats. This is how many people, like 52,000 hours of watch time." You know what I mean? So like, it's huge. And they're like, "Oh, I love that." Okay. So I was up against so many Las Vegas luxury realtors. Like, my competition was tough. And these are all expired, right? Everybody goes after, oh my gosh, coffee delivery. Love you. Thank you.
Now that is incredible service. How do you get that? Oh, wait, it's the most important decision a person makes. It's a marriage decision, right?
Right.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I
We'll
don't
do
even
another
know what
class.
I was talking about. I just got
We'll do another class on that.
right. Okay, so anyway, but yeah, the competition was tough. And I got in my head a couple times about who I was up against because some people told me, and that's when my husband was like, stop. The minute you start comparing yourself to others, you become petty. He goes, "You just go in there, you tell them what you're going to do because that's what you're passionate about, and that's what people love about you. So stop looking this guy up on YouTube and seeing how many freaking people that have subscribed to his channel." He's like, "Just stop. Like, don't bring him up. Just show him what you're going to do." So anyway, so that helped me get the Lake Las Vegas listing.
I love that. And so then what happened next?
Yeah, so basically we just kind of kept getting them. It exploded. And so bombing my first 5, that took up a lot of months, right? But we still 13 a week, 13 a week. Like, Joanne's like, "Okay, you just gave me another project. What's more important, luxury or this?" And I'm like, "Get the books out. We got to get the books out." So we stayed, very true to that and kept going. And after just getting a listing and then another listing and another, we got 14 in 8 months, basically. And it says 14 in 14 months, but like, when you talk about, bombing my first 5, it just kind of started when we landed the first one. And then it just started, and we landed 100% of our listings after that. So that's kind of what happened. And then we started making some really good money. And, it's not all about the money, but that's kind of why we did it, right? So we could have more time. And this gave me more time to do my agent attraction, and it worked.
Yeah.
So just being able to do that. And then I decided to train my team on luxury so I wouldn't have to do it anymore. Right. So I figured it out. And now I'm like, "Here you go. Now you guys go send the books out. You guys land the appointments. This is what you need to do." They have the whole process, lined out for them. And now they're doing it. And I've been out of production since January 1st.
Love that. So here's what I would love to know. It is very unusual to land 100% of the listings that you go on. And so when you like, that's the first question. What is the process that has that you found that what are the things that are working to create that result?
Okay, well, the book does half the job, right? So the book that we deliver kind of says, everything that we're going to do.
Yep.
And then once I get there, they give me a tour of their amazing house. I take a lot of notes. And you would be surprised of the people that acknowledge that and say, "Oh my gosh, nobody's actually taken notes when they came in."
Mm.
I don't know anything about these luxury homes, right? The stove is like a certain brand I've never even heard of. Like I know GE, Monogram, like whatever, like not what they have, right? And so anyway, every little thing matters. And then we put together a website for each property with all these things that they love about the house. So I have to take good notes. So anyway, so we do the tour and then basically I just sit down and I have the conversation with them about, obviously pricing and about what I'm going to do. And, they've already seen it, right? They've got the book. I've sent them an email saying, these are the kind of videos I do. So like I do send them like I don't send them pricing ever because I did that once and then I didn't get in the door because they don't want to talk to you about that until you get here. And if you're way off, then they'll just cancel the appointment. So anyway, but just kind of give them everything that I do, like in an email. So that goes out to them. So they kind of know everything before I get there. But then we talk about it. I ask them their questions. I ask them about what's important to them. Right. And when you ask them what's important to them and what they love about their home, like it just kind of goes a long way because not everybody does that either. It says my microphone is not working.
Oh,
Can you
your
hear me?
microphone's working fine. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Anyway, so and then I just kind of use my three pillars that seem to hit home. I talk about being global and how important it is, to be at a global brokerage because chances are, a buyer for your home may not be in the US, right? So we have 90,000 agents. We're in 26 countries. Our EXP luxury is across the globe, and our marketing goes outside the US, so being global is huge. And then I talked to them about telling the story of their home through video. 50% of the realtors never even did a video. And you're talking 10 million, $12 million listings. So when I go, when someone raises their hand, the first thing I do is I Google their address and I click on video because I want to see what kind of video they did, right? And like I said, 50% never even did a video. The other 50% did a video, good for them, and they posted it on YouTube. It's been there a year and only 127 people saw it. So when I tell them that, I'm like, your agent did a video, which is amazing because video works so good, especially with all of our buyers outside of this area. I said, people aren't going to feel what it feels like to walk through your gorgeous front door in a picture, but they will in a video. So I feel like telling the story of your home through video is huge. I said, and your realtor did one, but only 127 people saw your gorgeous home. The way I do it, we put money behind our ads and we get over 100,000 views in the first 30 days. So when I tell them that, they're like, whoa. So when you go from going global to the story of their home to digital marketing, when you hit all three of those pillars, it's just a game changer.
I love that. And so how can you with confidence say you're going to get 100,000 views in 30 days? Because that's
Well,
in the next question, right?
yeah, there's three different ads you can run on YouTube. One is going to be engagement, one's reach, and one's website. And I just run all three of them at $200 each for the first 30 days. And I run it not just in the US, but to other countries. So and then it just works. And you want to make sure you do it. Do not say you're going to do something and not do it
Yeah.
because I have a video um, update that I send to them. I open up everything on my screen everywhere I'm marketing, right? Because I do Facebook ad bundles too, and I talk to them about it. $10 million home sellers kind of laugh when I talk about Facebook, but when I tell them, we do a picture ad, a real ad, a carousel ad, and a full video ad, and we have them rotating every day, not just to our area, but from where people are moving from. Like we use a migration map and we figure out where people are moving from, and that's where we're running our ads. And so when you say it like that, they're like, oh, you know, that
Yeah.
makes sense, not just posting to my 500 Facebook friends. So anyway, so yeah, when you use all of that, it just works so well. But we show them, every couple weeks, like what the numbers look like. And if you're not showing any views and you're not showing any leads, like I can go through my ad bundle and be like, yep, we've got 120 leads here and da 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 here, and these are the people we're having conversations with about your home. So you want to be able to show them that. So don't lie about it. Just do it. And yes, it costs money, but it's worth it and it will get you more listings and it'll help you get your listings sold.
I love that. So, with the strategy that you have, what's your experience around the impact of a market that goes to home and then closes in the luxury market? Like, how do they stand in the market versus other agents that are doing quote unquote luxury and the experience there? Do you guys look at that at all?
Some, and it just depends. Like we picked up a listing that was for sale for 2 years at 1.3. And when I went to the listing appointment, I was like, oh my gosh, your home is amazing. You would have never known from the marketing. And it
Wow.
had a big piece of property, which is like kind of unheard of in Las Vegas, right? So it had horse property, it had a strip view. Like you didn't see any of this in the marketing. And so I told her, I was like, I feel like we can get 1.5. And she goes, how are we going to get 1.5 if I've been trying to sell it for 2 years at 1.3? I said, well, because I'm kind of good at what I do, you know? So the more you make, the more I make. Let's give it a shot. We sold it for 1.45 in 45 days. So that's a really good success story. Some of them didn't, some of them took a lot longer. Most luxury homes, they do a 12-month contract for a reason, because not everybody has $10 million. Obviously the lower priced homes. Hi, Tom. Um, anyway, some of the lower price homes, obviously from the 1 to 2, $3 million range, go a lot faster, but the higher ticket ones take a while.
Yeah.
And we
Um,
just big or small, we sell them all. You're gonna want to sell the small ones because those are gonna fund the big ones.
I love that. Big or small, we sell them all, and the small ones fund the big ones.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So now that you have had the experience that you've had, it sounds like there's a couple of things that are the commonalities. Number one, you saw the vision. Number two, you committed to consistency in a plan, and your plan was 13 of those packets going out every week to expired listings. And then whether you got them or didn't get them, like in anything in life, one thing leads to the next, and you're learning and improving each time that you go. And now you've got duplication because you've got your team that's doing that same thing, which has then created a different level of leverage for you in your business, which leads to a different level of lifestyle. And so I think what is so incredible about that is that so many agents get into the industry of real estate for whatever reasons they get into it, most of them around flexibility or freedom, and then never find a way to actually get the lifestyle that they're looking for. The most agents, if they get the business that they want to do and the income's going up, they don't have time for the lifestyle, right? Because it's all hands on deck on a business that is 24/7, literally, right? And then the other end of that spectrum is, okay, well, I'm not doing as much business. However, now I don't have money to fund the lifestyle that I was looking to be living or experiencing either. And so it tends to be this kind of one or the other can happen a lot of the time for agents. And I think what's one of the things that's so cool and inspiring about your story is that it is possible to have it all in the industry of real estate, right? And that you chose a path You got committed to the path. You've consistently executed on that path. You've got duplication happening in that path now. And so it's opening that up. And then the other piece that comes along with that is realizing that have had 20 years of experience in the industry of doing it in the absence of that, uh, to now be at a place where you're, I don't know if you've always had this much energy and always been this enthusiastic and passionate. However, it feels
Joanne's like, yes.
it's like, yes.
She's
Um,
like, calm down.
it's a pretty cool thing to be 20 years in and be in that, in the space that you're in right now. So I'd love to open it up just for questions, because aside from the ones that I asked that were just kind of like obvious questions in my mind of like, I wonder how she's doing that, or I wonder what, this is leading to that. Would love to open it up for anyone else that's on the call today that would love to ask or even just share anything if you've got it.
Ted, I'd like to go into her website. What's your website, Wendy?
Which one?
Oh,
If you
we
want
have
my real estate website, it's wendygossyourrealestateboss.com. If you want my personal one, it's wendygoss.com. So I know Joanne can put a link in the chat. That goes right to my calendar or to the video of kind of what we're doing. And if you wanted to meet with me to talk more about it and what it would look like in your area, that would be amazing.
beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know Tom is hitting the ground running in Sacramento. I met him at the Brent Gove event, and he just tell me about your listing, Tom. How's it going?
It's going well. So I was in escrow on my smallest listing ever, a $360,000 fixer in Alberta. That fell through, but doing kind of the mindset that Wendy talks about, just deciding, okay, I've done luxury in LA. I'm here in Sacramento. Luxury is different per market, as we all know. But I just said, you know what? I want to be in luxury. I'm going to go after bigger price homes, and was doing open house that wasn't mine, but meeting a lot of great people. And so, when you do open houses, sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't. When it clicks, it's just like, oh my gosh, you're my people. And they felt that, I felt that. They're like, come look at our house. We want you to list our house. And I always do a pre-listing call where I just, do a proof of life. Like, okay, am I wrong to assume that you're talking to other agents? You've got to know other agents. Why would you choose me over those other agents? They're like, nope, we're not talking to anyone. We're not planning on talking to anyone. Like,
Well, you
we
were
want to
lucky.
talk. And, and yeah, and I said, so unless I completely fall on my face when we get together, it sounds like, would I be wrong to assume you're okay to work together? And they go, yep. I'm like, hallelujah. So anyway, I at
Love it.
that one thing led to another. So it's a $2.7 million 5 acre, 4,000 square foot main house with a 1,600 square foot ADU, tennis court, pool. It's amazing property. And talking to Brent Gove, he said, Tom, I know you've sold luxury homes in LA, but have you done it in Sacramento? And I'm like, well, I've sold homes, but not luxury. And he goes, well, we up here in Sacramento, we have wells, septic, and miner's inches. Do they have those in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica? And I'm like, nope. And he goes, up to you, but I'd encourage you to co-list this with someone just for the first one to just get it under your belt. So I co-listed it with Sean Work, who's amazing. It's been awesome. We're getting it out, and because of EXP Luxury and Wendy, it's going out to Mansion Global and Rob Report and all the publications. The photos are amazing. I can text it to you. I'll put it in the chat if you want. It's awesome. So we're doing a realtor event, open house wine and cheese, where we're having video and we're encouraging all the content creators to say, come here. We're gonna feed you. We're gonna get you drunk, and we're gonna allow you to do content. And if you don't have a video camera, we're gonna have one set up. So we're gonna have a camera set up. We're hired a videographer so that people can just come in and stand where they want in front of the pool or in front of the tennis court or whatever shot they want, and it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna host it and have them create their own content and get it out there. So that's what you call collaboration and cross-pollinating with other people's markets. So now I'm in their market, their sphere, their clients. So it's a good thing.
I love
So
it.
thank you, Wendy, and thank you,
Those are
Casey.
my favorite. You are welcome. Those are my favorite. We call them luxury realtor social media nights. And the reason we started doing them was because when I decided to land luxury listings, I reached out to luxury agents, asking them to come and do, content on their luxury homes, and they would not answer their phone
Yep.
and wouldn't text me back, and they were mean. And I was like, okay, well, when I become a luxury realtor, I am going to give everybody a chance to be luxury. So this is another thing I tell um, uh, sellers when I meet with them. I was like, because most luxury home sellers don't like open houses because you can't get proof of funds from everybody that come in and they, have a lot of stuff. So I tell them we're going to have a luxury realtor social media night. I'm going to have 30 to 40 luxury agents in your home getting amazing video content, which is 30 to 40 times the exposure of what I'm doing
Yep.
in one night. And yeah, we have a videographer there. He does the hook and he airdrops it, or he puts it on he tacks it onto the reel he's already made for the property because he already did all the marketing, and he airdrops it right to the realtor. So they have immediate content. Like, realtors love this. And I have a little thing saying, hey, do you want to know what it looks like to join my team? Here you go. So I've gotten a lot of realtors on my team just from this event. So don't forget to take your list,
Nice.
Tom. This is everything you get when you join my team. So
Oh, good
anyway,
idea. I hadn't thought of that. So thank you
I
for
have
reminding
one
me.
for you. I'll
Oh,
send it
good.
over. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway,
Thank you,
super
Casey.
fun.
You're welcome. I love that. So, one of the things about what you just shared that I really love is the mindset behind it, and the difference between a mindset of scarcity and mindset of abundance. So, Wendy, you wanting to break into a luxury market and having the experience of like, yeah, nobody's letting me in the front door that's an agent, to be able to collaborate for the benefit and the exposure of the seller, but then also for you, right? And that is kind of inherent in the industry. The industry is one of competitiveness, right? We're in competition with each other versus collaboration, which is like, hey, if you do better, I do better, we all do better, and everything is better. That's a totally different mindset to operate from. And so when you demonstrate an abundance mindset in that way that you have, and you've got these luxury realtor social media nights, you've got the client in mind for what's important to a luxury client and who they want in their home and who they don't want in their home, but then a whole plan around how you're going to maximize exposure, create relationships, and bring value to people that are in the same space in luxury with you in a spirit of collaboration and cooperation, not one of competition. And that is a distinguishing, for sure, a distinguishing feature that immediately is like a pattern interrupt, right? Because that's not what you see typically in our industry, because you'll see more scarcity of like, oh, we're going after the same book of business, or your competition in my market. And so playing in that mindset is totally different from the mindset that you're playing in. And it's not surprising, right? When you have your mindset is going to be, I call it the fertilizer of whatever grows on the other side, right? So if you have a mindset of abundance like you do, and you're out there fertilizing everything with abundance, well, of course, things are going to grow and grow in a big way and be able to be maximized in ways that if you're fertilizing with scarcity, it creates contraction and compression and less, right?
I
Fewer.
love that. I love that. One of the girls I got from one of those events, her name's Nicole. She's on my team. She is amazing. Brand new agent, never sold a house. First listing, 2 million. Then she closed a $1.73 million buyer 2 weeks later, and then a 1.5 30 days later. And she just listed a 1.4 and got in the contract in 8 days.
Wow.
So, like, she is on fire, and I love that I was able to, give her the fast track of what took me 20 years to get. So
That's
when people
amazing.
ask me, I know. So when people ask me, like, do I need experience? Well, I always said yes. I was like, you need to know how to sell houses before you go after luxury. But she proved us wrong. You need a strategy, you need amazing marketing materials, and you need a good coach. That's
That's
it.
incredible.
So
Strategy, marketing materials, and coach. I'm making notes. Um, it's great. So much incredible, just incredible, incredible takeaways. So as we kind of come towards the end of our time together today, what would you say that we haven't yet touched on or covered that would be important for the audience to really not just carve out a niche in this space, however, expand to whatever their vision is as to for how they want to position themselves in the market. What would you say?
Right. Well, we didn't really cover like my fears of how luxury home sellers would be. And I feel like a lot of people felt like I do, right? Like, they're different. Remember how you said that we just, make judgment? And I'm not from money. So I just assume everybody that has money, are above me, right? So when I went to this one listing that was 17,000 square foot, right? Kind of a big house, 10 bedrooms, 10 baths. Michael Jackson used to live in it. I was a little scared, right? And these people opened the door and they had regular clothes on. The wife had slippers on. And when I walked into the conference room, they were drinking out of McDonald's coffee cups. And I was like, okay, first of all, they're rich because they don't spend their money on Starbucks. I should have probably learned from that. But anyway, and that just like resonated with me. I was like, oh, they're just people. They're just people. So anyway, and they're great people and they're people with money. So my people that I talk about that I've worked with for 20 years, right? They're Jeep people. Jeep people don't have money because we constantly are spending money on Jeeps, right? So I was constantly like getting them down payment assistance and paying for their house to be renovated and getting reimbursed to escrow, and stuff like that. And it was always a struggle trying to get people to do what they needed to do to their home to get it top dollar. And these people, I was like, okay, your sports court has seen better days and I'm going to do amazing drone, videography. So like, can we get it resurfaced and can we add pickleball? Because pickleball is huge. So it'd have basketball, tennis, and pickleball. And they're like, oh, that's a good idea. I don't know why our realtor never said that. I said, I don't know either. $16,000. They're like, just let us know who we need to pay. And I was like, oh, these people, this is so fun. So anyway, don't feel like they're different. They're actually pretty amazing, and all of them were so nice to me. So anyway, your first step in tapping into luxury would be to have a plan, to have a strategy, and to have good marketing materials, right? EXP Luxury obviously is my go-to for all of that because the marketing materials are so good. So it's $2,500 a year to be a member there. But if you want to join my national luxury team and you're not already on a team, it's only $995 a year. So there's that. And I have been helping realtors across the country land luxury listings. You may have heard of it. So if you are interested in doing something like that, the link is in the chat. Has a quick video about what I've been doing, but we are getting people winning all across the country because this works in every luxury market. So I wanted to make sure of that. I brought it to my team first, and then they started landing luxury listings in their area. And I was like, oh my gosh, I created duplication. What? So anyway, so I started helping other realtors, and we have $25 million listing appointment from this book in San Diego. We have Lori in Utah, closed to 4.5, has a 3.3, a 2.7, and a 2.2, and just got another $4.5 million listing. Like, it's just everywhere. Liliana's in Florida, sent the books out for 3 weeks, 10 a week, and got 3 listings over $1 million. I mean, it just happens that fast. So it's awesome. Anyway.
I love that. I love it. I love it. Well, I want to thank you for being such a team player, being willing to come on and share so freely, and then also being a pioneer of sorts, willing to throw your hat in the ring and do it Wendy style and showing that you don't have to change who you are. You can be most effective being who you are and being 100% who you are, and your people will always find you. That is what happens in life, right? I like everything that is meant for me, it comes to me. And then you're obviously, have a 20-year track record of serving people and helping people and are now be able to do it in a really expansive way because you've got a business system in place that's duplicatable, that can scale. And one of the things that I love that you shared about it is like, holy smokes, brand new agent, first listing 2 million, then a 1.7 buyer, a 1.5 buyer, and a 1.4 list that is, 8 days on the
I've
market.
been here a year. I know.
What agent wouldn't feel like they had died and gone to heaven if that was their experience as a brand new agent? Any agent, actually. A brand new agent probably has no point of reference to realize how amazing that is. Any agent that is experienced would know how amazing that is. So, want to thank you for who you are, everything that you bring to the table, like incredible value today. We'll have this recording that goes up on Empire Builders Pro under our resources tab, and then it gets emailed out to all 900 people on our email list that have signed up to get these recordings of the calls from today. So thank you, Wendy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Next month, and everyone make it a great rest of your Friday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.